Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to do Leisenring's brown or red hackle. Rather than go through all the materials here and talk about the time as it's going on, I'm showing you everything and I'll list everything in there. I did want to talk about a couple of key things. I'm going to be doing all 12 of Leisenring's favorite flies and talk a little bit about what I think is interesting. First to note is that he always ties the hackle in by the butt stem, and rather than tying it in by the tip and wrapping forward to waiting thread, he wraps back to waiting thread and then the thread through. And that's a key technique that I think is important to note, and that makes his patterns and flimp patterns particular in the way in which you tie them. This pattern is the first of two that he lists that are super old patterns, ancient patterns. Sometimes this one was referred to as the brown hackle, sometimes the red hackle. What was the unifying factor is that it was a brownish red hackle with a peacock herl body. Now, he has his own recipe for it, and he doesn't use a brown or red hackle. He uses a furnace hackle, but the name of the fly, as it comes down in history, tends to be either brown or red hackle as the name. So what he's referring to when he says brown or red hackle is a particular traditional pattern, and here's his recipe and tying of it. Furnace hackle, he does not say cock or rooster versus hen. He also doesn't say that for his second favorite pattern, the gray hackle. And I believe one other he does not specify. But of the other 12, he's very specific, whether it's hen, cock, rooster, or a particular game bird. So what I think is going on here is he probably tied it with both. Traditionally, back through the literature, it seems that most of the time the brown or red hackle was tied with rooster hackle, which is what I'm doing here. Leisenring, in his chapter on hackles, mentions that the stiffness of the hackle should suit the water type you're fishing. So if it's a calm, gentle river, then you would use a softer hackle. If it's a rapid stream, fast-flowing water, then a stiff hackle. So I think he leaves it up to you, and you would tie the fly with all different levels of stiffness of hackle, either hen or rooster or somewhere in between. The other interesting thing about his mention of furnace is in the hackle chapter, he describes a furnace hackle as one that has a dark center list, color, and then dark tips. What a lot of us would consider a cocky bandu or, that style. But here, furnace for him means that regardless of what color. So when we do the gray hackle, which is the second fly, he asks for a yellowish cream furnace hackle. I tied mine with a reddish leaning actual Indian hen cape, which is fairly cocky bandu. Hopefully you could see that. It had a dark black center and black tips. And so really interesting fly here tied with rooster hackle in that true furnace, Leisenring furnace fashion. Bronze, peacock herl, and claret silk. Thank you, and stay tuned. Bye.